let's talk about some cars. I'm doing a mega review on these guys because, well, there is something worth saying about every individual one of them, but not enough to warrant a full video in my opinion. I could just make 9 short 10-minute videos where I drag it out and talk about every little detail and go over the articulation, even though articulation is standardized these days. But I don't get it why shorter videos are more popular. I like longer videos. When I'm sitting down to play War Thunder or to eat or to clean my room, I put on like a 4-hour Wendigoon video or a Lore Lodge video or a Drakenethel video where I can sit and listen to it and know that every 10 minutes I'm not going to have to switch and find another video. If you don't like it, you're allowed to, but I'm allowed to run my channel the way I want to. Okay, Hound. For a Studio Series 86 figure, a modern SS86 figure, he's got a lot of 5mm ports and some gribblies just left over from the War for Cybertron mold that this guy came out of. The wheels all roll great, despite not being pinned. The hands aren't visible from most angles, so it don't bother me. They're not hidden, but for most angles when you look at this thing, they hide themselves pretty well. It's kind of like not an optical illusion, but just the way the angles are. They actually use hollow space really well to give like the suggestion of seats in like a console, even though like I wish you could put something in there. The feet I'm a bit iffy about. I'd have to look up real Jeeps to see if they have like anything on the side. I think they just have doors. Honestly, if you want to, you probably could just remove the feet entirely and have a cleaner looking Jeep. So that's an option if you want parts for them. The paint is great. It's so nice. I love this shade of like Allspark blue. And the weapons store, how you'd expect them to store. Beachcomber has rubber pin tires, so he zooms well. He's just a fun little boy, as a beach buggy should be, to just zoom and push around all over obstacles and just have fun with. I love the pearlescent, like silver-ish roll cage, which, they couldn't have chromed this out, but it's close enough while still being cartoon accurate. He has seats, and he has a dash with molded in detail. He even has like the suggestion of the engine at the back, because beach buggies were built off of VW Beetles, which had an engine at the back. There's even like this the diamond pattern for your feet grip to get up and get into the thing. And everywhere else, it's smooth where it needs to be. Like up on the hood, there's no extraneous details, minimal extraneous details that bring this away from like the Studio Series 86 aesthetic, the really clean cartoon aesthetic that I like. I think this is a good balance. I don't mind this. Windcharger. Clear inserts. They fix the problem where sometimes they can't paint it. Like with Bumblebee, they gave clear inserts, which increases the part count and is more expensive, more complex, but they did it. He's nice and smooth. I love the way Windcharger looks and feels with the very minimal molded in detail. Like the door is completely smooth except for the little handle. He's deformed, cartoonishy, but that's the way the cartoon was. Try to look this up and correct myself. I've heard it said that you can use the gun as an exhaust. There's no way I can get it to plug in as an exhaust and to be like not in the way of anything or angled. I can get it to face forward as a gun pretty easily though. Another really cool detail that I love about this guy, which I hope we get more of, or this might just be like a symptom of being red, but they have the white outline cartoon Autobot symbol, not the standard Autobot symbol where it's like a red decal almost. Grapple, he is big. He's a good size. He has a unnecessary but great claw accessory. It's fun to play with. It has little clips for things. You can use it on his arm if you want to. His gun plugs in nicely. His nozzle has a good place to go. Everything stores. He's got tons of playability. The crane can go up and down and in and out. And again, you can choose which attachment it has out. And you can like clip it to ramps as if he's like installing the ramps or something. I can see a kid loving this toy. Trailbreaker. The hands bug me. I wish there was a way they stored more elegantly. They do get in the way of the ground clearance, which there's enough, but not enough to be running this over rugged terrain, which, you know, what you'd want to do with an off-road vehicle like this. Unfortunately, there's just a black insert for the windshield and no paint anywhere else. Maybe it has to do with this hinge being unpaintable plastic or something. The weapon storage is, like, weird because you plug it in up top, and that's regular Transformers weapon storage. But there's enough space to, like, wedge it in underneath here. Almost. Yeah, he'd have, like, a gun facing out front, but, you know, and it'll sit, unless you're, like, really rough with it, or relatively rough with it, you know. Sunstreaker! He's got clear inserts, too, which, again, is great. I'm all for that. The yellow paint is great. It pops. There's no spoiler, and this is the reissue Earthrise, but the Studio Series 86 version doesn't have the spoiler, which, granted, I don't think he transforms in the movie, so I don't know cars, honestly, but the lines on the sides, like the break up the windshield, this thing up top, I don't know if it's a supercharger or a radiator or, like, extra air intake or what, but it looks cool, and like these things on the sides, which I'd assume are air intakes or scoops or decorative or meant to imply it or something, it implies a lot of speed and power. So I like it. Now, his brother, Sideswipe, not the best weapon storage, which ruins the look much more than the weapon storage on Trailbreaker does. When you take it off, it is a smooth, simple car. And red just looks good on cars, I think. I love the cell shading. It's amazing. It's not overdone. It's not everywhere. It's just on the windshield, just the right amount. I don't know what these are on cars, but I love the back ridges. The brothers, again, they look great together, assuming you don't have the weapons on Sideswipe. Sure Shot. He's a wonky dune buggy. He's got hollow exposed bits, but it's Cybertronian, so you just ignore it. Like, it's an alien design, doesn't need to look realistic. This wing, or the wings at the back, are kind of adjustable, and you can... the weapon storage is goofy, but it's screen accurate, and that's acceptable for me. It's very zoomable, and the tread detail, the treads kind of make it just bump along as it goes on real flat surface, but it gives you the impression that it's going over bumpy, rough terrain, which this thing would be in real life. So it's actually, like, I'd almost call it a feature, not a bug. Now, Elita. Currently, the most non-controversial Transformer in the entire fandom. The alt mode is shockingly cartoon accurate if you ignore the spoiler. Weapon storage is present, but again, that's Transformers. Honestly, I'm just happy to see a fembot that doesn't have a sleek, futuristic sports car or a motorcycle alternate mode. Like, these could be rocket boosters in the back, too. It's just a cool... It looks like a rugged car. Some sort of, again, a buggy. There's a lot of buggies in this episode. Transformations. Hound reminds me of Brawn, just a little bit in the legs. From there, it's so intuitive that you can probably just do it without thinking. Beachcomber, the grill comes off, the roll cage comes apart. You unfold the legs, fold down the heels correctly, making sure it kind of lines up. You fold down the roll cage, and finally, a slider on a modern figure. I know a lot of people don't like sliders because they can degrade over time, but I like sliders. I'm getting kind of tired of the combiner warsing the legs back and forth. I wish we had more sliders. Windcharger. The car is the legs. He's secretly a shell former, and he's one of the best shell formers ever made, because, like, him being a shell former isn't really detrimental to either mode. You could argue the legs are too bulky in robot mode, but the back can be tricky to move around, especially just due to it being clear plastic. I just get nervous shifting it. It locks in place well, doesn't like to move. Then you just pretty much just clean them up from there. Grapple. Sand down the pegs before you ever turn them into vehicle mode. These pegs that go into the back of the feet, they are way, like the tolerances are way too tight. There's things that have broken trying to untransform this guy from vehicle mode. So just whatever method you prefer, sand down the pegs or the inside of the ports, then it'll be a lot safer. Then he transforms shockingly similarly to Beast Hunter's Prime. Specifically the way the arms come around from the back and fold up to the front. It's also pretty cool how, like, the rearmost part of the vehicle moves up to become the head. And it kind of reminds me of taking that big old chunk at the back and then folding it up onto his back. Trailbreaker is so solid. You have to start with the arms to, like, unlock everything. Unless you want to flex things. Then you unfold the legs, you make sure to put the belly under the waist, and you get the head out and the back situated. Pretty simple. Sunstreaker is like Wheeljack, but more fiddly. You have to get the arms up, then rotate the waist, wiggle the chest up, fold down the legs, then rotate it again, collapse the feet, don't fold them, fold the heels. It's easy once you learn how to do it, but it's a very specific order things have to be done in. Unless, again, you just want to flex plastic past plastic. Sideswipe is dense as a brick, and I love it. Nothing new, really. It feels like a bunch of commonly seen techniques, just refined almost as much as possible. So there's as little wasted space and wasted engineering as possible. Sure shot. The Weagles act as gap fillers, built-in gap fillers that actually, like, don't just... It uses part of the alternate mode to do something in robot mode, which, for people who don't like faux parts, that's a huge win. It feels kind of fiddly and unrefined, especially with the wings falling off constantly. Comes together well enough. Elita is not too involved, but still one of the most involved fembot transformations out of all of them. Her legs do transform, again, with gap fillers. The backpack does the whole fold up a bunch thing. I wish it was pegged, not pinned, so you could just remove it if you wanted to. Now down to the robots. Hound, he looks great. Aside from the leftover ports and pegs, he could easily pass for a third-party downscale masterpiece in my eyes. Just how flat everything is, and the proportions, and just how much he looked like he jumps out of the cartoon. The launcher can lean back, if you don't know intentional or not, and it can fire. Beachcomber, the grill becomes the gun, and as someone, like me, who grew up in the age where Transformers had, like, integrated accessories, when weapon storage wasn't just plug the weapon on top, the weapon, like, parts formed out, that's really cool to see. He's so cartoony, the colors, with just enough detail and paint to be a good toy and a good figure to look at, but to, again, look like he's, like, a cartoon cel-shaded model come to life. I love how the roll cage hides on his back. You almost wouldn't even know it was there unless you were looking for it, which you'd think for such a thin, spindly sort of thing, it would have been a more clunky solution to hide it. Also, bird. Windcharger. He's like Beachcomber because he's just so smooth and polished. They managed to work in an up and down articulation into his head with a lever. I wish they could have done that for Motormaster or similar Transformers. I love the shade of bluish gray. The blast effect can store. It's supposed to be like him using his magnetism, but I think we all kind of know what it looks like, and that's what I'm going to use it for. Grapple. He's so tall and less pudgy than I'd like. I wish he was shorter. Oh well. Hands, they have options. You can do whatever with them. We're definitely still in the Earthrise Greebly aesthetic. The plus side is all the blast effect points you can put all over, which I love that playability gimmick. Trailbreaker looks great. I wish his arm flaps had somewhere to go instead of just being like on Hoist, which is cartoon accurate. I wish they could fold away or something. Mainly, though, his arms just look too long, especially with a cannon on. The proportions just look weird. I don't know why they did that, because if they made his forearms shorter, not only would it look better in robot mode, but it would help the underside of the truck a bit, too, with the arms hanging out in the clearance. Sunstreaker looks good. He's just a plain, bland, yellow Autobot. His weapon is bad. I wish they gave him a real gun. And the only reason I call him bland, he looks good, but because Sideswipe, look at this dude. The white isn't dull or a cream white. It's bright and it pops. The red is so shiny. It's like they used a blend of plastic for Sunstreaker that's just a lot more matte than for Sideswipe. And for an Autobot whose whole thing is looking really good, it's weird that he is literally outshined by his brother. Also, his rocket can launch. The head sculpt, where it sits, Sideswipe's always had that, like, his head is, like, probably, like, proportionally too far low. You can't really see all of his head from a lot of angles because the hood, but, like, that's what we expect from Sideswipe. So, it's great. Sure shot. His hands don't rotate, which is, like, should be standard now, ideally, for new figures, like, things that aren't reissues. He really feels 2 for 2 with Point Blank and Peacemaker, I believe. Just I guess just the money that goes into sculpting a Target Master and, like, adding that to a deluxe just makes the robot feel a few years outdated. Because he's great, but just there's some, clunky bits. There's some things hanging out the back. It's just doesn't feel as polished as a modern figure is. Elita. She's not pink enough, which apparently is a big controversy. Like, Hasbro doesn't like using pink. I'm a straight guy, and I have no problem buying a pink robot. I have no problem buying pink toys. I have no problem buying pink things. Look at my collection. She has a backpack, but shockingly little. She's, again, due to her vehicle mode being great, she's pretty bulky, almost as if she somehow became a... the guns are also present. Probably the most accurate Elita ones so far that we're going to get for a while. She's still not accurate enough. I think that's kind of sad, because, like, why?